So you found the perfect home in the right neighborhood at the right price point, exactly what you're looking for. So you put in an offer, your offer gets accepted, and now we move into the appraisal contingency, and what to do if there is an appraisal gap. So stay tuned if you're a realtor, if you're a buyer, or if you're just looking to find out more information about the real estate buying process. Stay tuned, as you're going to learn a lot from this video. Now, again, this happens after you submit an offer, after you find the perfect home. So now you move into the appraisal period. Now, just so you know, as a buyer, there's many ways to back out of a real estate transaction. For a seller, not so much. Now, one of the ways you can back out as a buyer is through the appraisal contingency, which states that if a property does not appraise at a certain price, then you can back out of the deal. However, sometimes buyers really want a home. And so, again, after you submit an offer, the bank, what they're going to do is they're going to contact a neutral third party. That third party is going to contact an appraiser, and that appraiser is going to go out to the property. They're going to appraise it. They're going to look at comparable homes in the area that have sold recently, same amenities, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, neighborhood, etc. I'll link down a really great video that details exactly what appraisers do and what appraisers look for when they go out to a property. So once that process is done, the appraiser, they're going to say, okay, so based on my findings, this is what I determine the value of the home to be. From there, they're going to send a report with the number to the bank, send you a copy as well. Now, the bank, unless you're putting more than 20% down, will not lend you more than what the appraiser believes the house is worth. Now, let's say, for example, right, you found the perfect home, you put in an offer, your offer is here, however, the bank determines that the value of the home is here, so there's a huge gap, right? So here are 4 things you can do to bridge the appraisal gap. All right, so number 1, you can pay the difference. Now, depending on the market conditions, you may or may not want to pay the difference. For example, just a couple months ago, we were seeing some crazy offers. I'm talking $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 above asking price. Actually, in Pasadena, a property was listed for $1.2 million. This is recent, I'm talking 2-3 months ago. And it's sold for $2.5 million. That's $1.3 million above asking price. So depending on the market conditions, if it's a seller's market, it's been a seller's market for the past year and a half. And so if there's low inventory, or if it's a buyer's market, if there's plenty of inventory, it all depends. Again, your real estate professional will guide you through those murky waters and explain to you exactly whether it's a buyer's market, a seller's market, etc., etc. So depending on where the market's at, you may have some negotiating leverage. And so let's say, for example, again, the appraiser determines that the house is worth and let's say, for example, that the appraiser determines that the value of the home is worth $900,000. However, you submitted an offer at $1 million. What you can do, step number 1, is pay the difference. Now, of course, as a real estate professional, you're there to protect your client's interests. Of course, you don't want the deal to fall through, but at the end of the day, you're not the one buying the house. So again, you're out there to protect your client's interests, negotiate for them, walk them through those murky waters, and be their fiduciary. So if the client really wants the property, negotiate, be creative. Again, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Number two, renegotiate with the seller. Say, for example, again, you submitted an offer at $1 million. The appraiser determines that the value of the home is worth $900,000. Say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to come down if you're willing to come down and come to an agreement. I know you don't want to go through this process again of searching for another buyer, canceling the contract, etc., etc. That's very time consuming. Again, you could say, hey, if you're willing to go down halfway, I'll go down with you. So let's meet at $950,000. Let's get this deal closed. Let's get you off to, Miami or Texas or wherever you're going. And let's make this deal happen. Come on. And so, again, you can renegotiate with the seller. Your real estate professional, they'll be there to, again, guide you through those murky waters. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? And remember, your bank is not going to lend you anything above what the appraisal value is. So remember that. Number three, and that takes us to option number three. You don't have to do anything. You could simply walk away. So part of the appraisal contingency is that, again, if it doesn't appraise at a certain value, the buyer can back out within a certain time frame. Okay? So remember that. Within a certain time frame, that's why these contingencies are very, very important. That's why you need a real estate professional to keep track of all the deadlines, as they are very, very important. For example, if you cancel outside of what's considered 17 days, which is the normal contingency period for appraisals, if you cancel outside of that period, the seller may keep your earnest money deposit, which is 3%. And so, again, you need a real estate professional to not only guide you, but to stay on track and on top of all the deadlines. So again, number three, you don't have to do anything. You could walk away, look for another property. And number four, you can challenge the appraisal. Now, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. Does that appraiser do this for a living? Does he do this 5, 6, 7 days a week? Of course. But we all make mistakes. Say, for example, once you get the appraisal report in your hands, you say, hey, a certain property that just sold down the street privately was not listed in my appraisal report. What's going on? So you go to your bank, and your bank will contact that appraiser and let them know, hey, in the report, these properties didn't show up. And so the appraiser takes that, they reconsider it. If it's valid, they reconsider it, and then they'll go back to the property and redo the appraisal. So it happens. You can challenge the appraisal. Again, we all make mistakes. Some appraisals may come back incorrectly. So those are your 4 steps. Again, you can pay the difference. Number 2, you can renegotiate with the seller. Number 3, you can walk away. Or number 4, you can challenge the appraisal. So I hope you learned a lot in this video. Make sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on the next one.